The magical ride continues, and the Guardians' magic number is down to 3, and they continue to show us that they will not go quietly into the night.
Tanner Bibee of the Guardians, and you're listening to Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on in to our favorite half hour of the day, because we're talking about your first place Cleveland Guardians here on Locked On Guardians, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team, your first place on their own Cleveland Guardians. I'm Justin Lada. I have been here for the last 3 years with my friend and co-host Jeff Ellis, and I've spent 18 years covering the Guardians minor league system from top to bottom. And again, I stress, I have never seen anything like this. This may be the most fun month I think we've had, Jeff, outside of the 2024 draft and last year's playoff run. This might be even more exciting than last year's playoff run, to be honest.
Yeah, I have shades of 2013, like the crazy run down the stretch. And I think it's also because that's the year after I moved back to Ohio and I got to go to games, and it was a real special experience. But yeah, as Justin mentioned there, I am Jeff Ellis, one of the original Locked On hosts. This is the Rally Dino, of course. Before joining Locked On, I was a national writer at Scout in 24/7, focused on prospects in the draft. I want to thank you for making today's episode your first listen today and every day, wherever it is you get podcasts. And I want to give shout outs to Matthew Idzak and David Snodgrass, who are two of our everydayers who popped in the comments. I got to ask, I knew a lot of Snodgrasses growing up in Akron. David, are you related to them? Comment and let me know. Thank you all, each and every one of our everydayers out there. This has been an incredibly fun ride of late. And I don't know how you're not enjoying this baseball team. They just don't let up. Like I saw some salty Tigers fans because, the Valera home run, according to stats, would have only been a home run in Cleveland. And it's like Cleveland has all this, devil magic. It's like, well, Tigers also only scored one run, so it doesn't really matter. And when the pitching's that good, it doesn't. The rest of it doesn't matter. It takes off all the pressure, right? Like it's discussion for later on. But
yeah. Today's show we'll talk about whether or not the Guardians and we should look ahead to the playoffs. Are we ready to actually look ahead? And the job's not done, but are we ready to look ahead? We'll talk about Tanner Bibee's strong finish to the season and a big start for him on Wednesday night. But first, we'll start today's show off talking about the Guardians refuse to go away and how they continue to rise to the moment. And I know everybody says, this is your team kind of takes on the personality of your manager. That's, things are reflected in leadership. That's baseball and everything else in life, it seems like sometimes. But I don't know what kind of example Stephen Vogt's setting in the clubhouse. Like, he believes, I remember what was it, back in July, all the things he was saying about, remember how we said at one time, well, this is just not who we are as a team. They were making all these errors. They weren't pitching well. And we were screaming. We were saying, at some point, this is who you are, because you keep making errors. You keep pitching badly, and your team can't hit. We kept saying, this is who you are. And Stephen Vogt, we kept chiding him, saying, these canned answers that we knew meant nothing, because, I know that it's not worth it to take a whole lot of post-game quotes from the manager, because you're just going to get a lot of, canned cliches. But he kept saying, this is not who we are as a baseball team. We didn't play like ourselves. And somehow, some way, Stephen Vogt must have had the best pair of binoculars or the best magic 8-ball or some kind of pensive to look ahead to know what he had in this team. And the defense has been fantastic this month, especially with the run the pitching has been on. And like you said, they get just enough hits. The offense knows. It felt like forever the pitching was very stressed out because they knew if they gave up 1 or 2 runs that they were screwed. And now it feels like the offense is like, oh, we got to go out and just put up 3 or 4 runs and we're going to win because we know the pitching is good. The confidence here is unbelievable. I mean, they went down 1-0 in that second inning to the Tigers. They came right back the next inning, George Valera at the home run. They responded, and it was by a rookie, George Valera, who had a bad first at bat, I will say, against Jack Flaherty, because
and also the Rocchio double to set that up too. He's been scuffling a bit before that.
Yeah, but he responded in a big moment there, and that crowd went absolutely nuts. that place went from a 1 after they were down 1-0 to a 10 up to 11 after that Valera home run. It goes to 11. That was crazy.
Yeah, and then it's like, just speaking about how the crowd was, it's like after Jose hit that, scored the 2 runs with the, the hustle double in the 7th, like just the way he like fed into the energy, you could see it there in that moment. And yeah, it was just, it's electric, and you can hear the players talk about it and how much it means to them. And, it is a fall night in September, which in my opinion is the best time to go to a baseball game. I like fall weather. So I think it's, sitting in a cooler stadium, and you were there, so you can speak to that more than I can.
It was comfortable. It was very comfortable.
But it's like seeing that game, seeing that performance, and like Tanner didn't have his best stuff. He definitely struggled at points, but it's like essentially you get rid of one bad inning, and yeah, it's a higher pitch count because there was a lot more balls, but he just battled. And like I texted you when he got taken out, like it looked like Carl Willis gave him like a prolonged hug, like good job. Like, you knew the assignment. Is that thing a thing people still say? I don't know. I'm old. But
the assignment.
Yeah. And
that's still a thing.
He performed. He became set. I believe they set the major league record today with 19 straight games with the starter giving up 2 or less runs, and he went 6, which is a strong performance. The last starter to give up more than 2 runs was against the Rays with Logan Allen. They just keep going. What a performance. Hopefully Parker Messick can let him hit 20, but it's been, Tanner, in the past, we've seen when Tanner is maybe not as sharp, and, it could have been any number of things, it's who knows, like maybe I'm not gonna guess, but like he was not quite as sharp, and he just battled, and he fought through, and he executed when he needed to execute, and all the credit to him.
Yeah, and the defense, they turned a couple double plays behind him. Kafus had a great play in right field.
Manzardo, that first base.
Yeah, he made probably the best defensive play I've ever seen him make. Kafus, that catch in right, though, that was the sac fly that gave the Tigers a 1-0 lead, the only run they scored. And that was a great play by Kafus in right field to catch that ball, because if that gets down and rolls the wall, they're going to keep running, and they're going to be up. And he's, he's not a natural right field. Like, I know he played right field a little bit, or left field in college, and he played some outfield in high school, but he doesn't have a ton of experience in right field as a pro until this year. So
I think it was like a 900 expected batting average, or maybe 800 expected batting average on that ball.
The one he caught that was
the one he caught,
the sac fly. Okay, wow, yeah, that was a great play. Yes, the defense is really trying. I mean, God, I can think back to April, like that Padres series when the season started. I think you were traveling, and I had Chico on. Shout out to Chico. I saw him at the game too. We talked for a little bit, and I remember just talking about how the defense had to be cleaned up. Remember Jose made a bunch of errors early on, and there was Rocchio, and there was a lot of bad defensive plays. And, you had walks by the pitching staff, like Gavin, Tanner, the other starting pitcher who I won't name. Like, this is a 180 from who this team was 6 months ago. It's unbelievable how
a lot of new players.
They did. I mean, you still had Tanner and Gavin. You went with Logan Allen, and you lost Ben
the guys in the field. They had Nolan Jones wasn't here last year. Angel Martinez was up and down. Gabby Arias was up and down. They were switching around their infield. Kyle Manzardo was up and down.
You had Gabby playing second to start the year, and Rocchio at short. And ever since Rocchio's come back and played second base, their defense has been taking it up a notch. And Jose, by the way, now has 3,000 total bases for his career with Cleveland, only behind, I believe, Earl Averill. So unbelievable. He got a nice ovation for that. And of course he comes through with the double to spread the game out a little bit for them. I'm kind of glad nobody hit a grand slam with the bases loaded there, because Kwan was up and Valera. That place might have been there might have been an earthquake at that stadium if someone hit a grand slam, because that place was ready to blow with the bases loaded and nobody out. But they came through, and you could see that this team feels confident, because look at the Tigers. I'm not going to pretend that we know anything about the Tigers, because we don't cover them every day and we're not in their locker room, but you could see which team is rising to the challenge and doesn't feel overwhelmed by the moment. You could see the Tigers are clearly pressing, and I saw a play, Rafael Montero gave up a hit in right field, and the right fielder didn't catch it, and Rafael Montero stood on the mound and with his hands on his hips, and he was glaring at the right fielder. Like, you can clearly see this team has
even Dylan Dingler, like that pop up.
Yeah,
he is a really good player and defender, and he just failed on a
Torkelson at
simple
first, that
play.
error.
Yeah.
Yeah, Schneemann. Yeah, I mean, you can clearly see which of the two teams is playing free and loose. And hey, when you win games, you're going to feel that way. And the Tigers, this is only going to compound. But the Guardians lost a lot of games themselves earlier this year, and they have brought themselves all the way back with their composure. We'll talk about how Tanner Bibee turned his season around. We'll talk about whether or not it is a little bit safer to look ahead to the postseason on the rest of today's Locked On Guardians. Well, we know the NFL season is here. There's a game on Thursday night. You're not going to be watching that game, though. You're going to be watching the Guardians, of course. But FanDuel wants to make sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer either way. Right now, if you are a new customer, if you want to get in on some responsible fun with FanDuel, you can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Again, I've said it before. We've seen them do bonus bets of 150, 200, 250. I've never seen 300. I have no idea how much longer this opportunity is going to go for the bonus bet. So if you want to get in on it now is the time. By the way, Guardians odds to win the AL Central. I put it in on FanDuel. I put $30 down, and I could only win $4. So that bet is no longer advantageous. But if you put $5 down and they win it, you can use that $5. You can use the $300 in bonus bets in the postseason, perhaps. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Hey, you. Thanks for being awesome and listening and watching wherever you're getting podcasts. And to make sure you are sticking with us for all of the episodes during the rest of the regular season, the postseason, dare I say, and of course, reaction videos to every game. I said I was going to go live Friday or Saturday from the stadium if they clinch. I will still do that. So you hit the bell on YouTube. You'll make sure you get that sent right to your phone. And if you download automatically on audio on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Overcast, Pocket Cast, wherever you get podcasts, you'll always get the episodes right into your feed. And that's the best way to help the show, I got to be honest. So we appreciate all of our everydayers. We appreciate everybody who's been tuning in and having fun with us on this entire stretch.
Just to go back to your point, for those who are curious, Earl Averill is 3,200. So roughly sometime next year, Jose Ramirez should be, barring health, number one in total bases.
The only record Jose may not have will be stolen bases because he won't catch Kenny Lofton because Jose hits homers. Kenny Lofton didn't hit as many, and Lofton was running 70 or 80 times a year, and Jose runs like 40. So
it's going to be hard for him to catch the WAR ones. Like those are going to be like because he's like
I think he'll catch Tomey for homers.
He needs 22 WAR just at the natural rate of progression. That would be like 4 more 6 WAR seasons, which could happen. And then offensively, he needs 17. So like potential, but those are just difficult, and he won't get there with the defensive WAR. So, but yeah, he'll get a lot of
most of the awards or most of the records.
He's the closest thing he is won't happen this year. And today was 1605. 1619 is the most games in franchise history. He's currently third, so he's got
early next
depending
year,
on how many he plays, really early next year will become the all-time games played person.
Gotta love that. And it's just been a lot of fun with him. It's unbelievable. Tanner Bibee, though, had a very first 2 years in the majors, and this year for him did not start out so good. Really, I would say the year for him was bumpy at best. I mean, he had a 6.15 ERA in the month of June alone. That was not a good month for him. And, as late as that, I think it was the Rays game, where we talked about yesterday, that moment in the dugout where things kind of boiled over for him. He was just, either he was not pitching how he wanted or he was getting bad luck. All those kind of things, converged together. And just like everybody else in the month of September, some kind of magical pixie dust occurred. So Tanner
they talked
finishes
about it on the
season.
broadcast. They said that Joe Torres spotted something and worked with him to help him increase his deception. So that was something that came up with Tom Hamilton. Or was it maybe with Rosenhaus? Actually, I mentioned.
Okay. So something with his deception. So something has really clicked this month for him because he finished the season 3-0 in the his final 4 starts. I know pitcher wins don't mean anything, but hey, they're wins, and that's what you want at the end of the day. You do want wins. And let's be honest, he also pitched well enough to deserve those wins. He struck out 26 and walked just 5 over his final 4 starts, 27 2/3 innings. More importantly, I think the big deal for him was he only allowed 1 home run in the month of September. Remember how bad the home run problem was for him early in the year?
Yes.
I think there was like a run in like June or July where not just him, but it was him and Gavin Williams, and I think it happened to Ben Lively, and it happened to the pitcher who will not be named. They were all giving up home runs the first batter of the game. So for Tanner to turn it around, like, again, said it yesterday, it would have been very easy for a lot of these guys to get frustrated, shut it down, and, call it in or whatever you want to do for the rest of the season. And they didn't. They kept working harder. They kept pushing at it. And tonight was a good example. Tanner was not 100% in terms of health. It seems like he had a cold or something going on. And he was getting ahead of hitters 0-2 or 1-2. He was ahead in a lot of counts, but he couldn't finish them off, whether that was him trying to induce chases or just losing command of certain pitches at certain times. But he was getting ahead of hitters. Just had a hard time putting them away. But he gutted his way to 6 innings, only allowed the sac fly, pitched out of some trouble, got some good defense, but got that final strikeout. Felt like that went Perez to chase a curveball in the dirt after nobody all night would bite at his curveball. I think he tried to do the same thing Gavin Williams did the night before, because the Tigers were chasing every breaking ball that Gavin Williams threw, and they made the adjustment, but Tanner was still able to beat Tanner and overpower them and overcome.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting nervous. I won't lie, just because of all the pitches and the struggles. But once he kind of got through that inning, it was a lot of high counts still, but it just no one got on base, and he was able to be effective, and he worked through. And it was another strong performance. He got one of the 3 stars for me in this game. Him, Jose, and Valera were the 3 that I dished him out to, and. Yeah, I mean, it's been during this stretch, unsurprisingly, the starter has gotten one every single time. So, yeah, it's just another strong performance. And, yeah, are the Tigers scuffling? Absolutely. Like, Kerry Carpenter at the end of the day now has an OPS under 800. And I didn't think I would say those words with the way he's played against this team. But a big part of it is these games against Cleveland. And, you still got to take care of business. The teams are still a team that had 6 all-stars, right? Like it's a lot of players there who had great halves of a season, and struggles or not, you don't want to be the one who helps them get on track. You don't want to be the one who provides the spark, right? And he didn't. He shut them down. He had a strong performance. It was a great job by Tanner. Is this the point where I make the joke that if you're our listener who was complaining at the start of the year about me talking over the ads and thought I was Tanner, comment below. Let me know if you're still listening. Somebody got very mad for a while. Like, Jeff, stop talking over the intro. I'm like, well, I'm not. So yeah, if you're still out there listening, let me know if you're still listening.
That. Yeah. And yeah, credit. I mean, like I said, he gave that run in the 3rd inning, and then obviously, I think it helped that Valera came back at that home run. They got things back in control.
They've been great about answering.
They have been. I mean, everybody has stepped up. And to go back to your point too about the pitching, I mean, not counting Tanner's start, this team has a starting rotation in the month of September has a 2.08 ERA. I mean, that's just bananas. It's a 2.85 FIP. So they're not getting lucky. This starting pitching staff is averaging below 3 runs a game. Just alone on walks, strikeouts, and home runs. It's a 346 FIP, so xFIP. So if you want to normalize the home run rate, it's about a run and a half higher. But I'll take that the way this has been going for them. And they're averaging, 6 innings a start. They've lost 1 game as a starting rotation the entire month. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That was their 14th start this month where the starting pitching has allowed 1 run or less. 14 out of 23 games, the starters have allowed 1 run or less. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games where the starters didn't even allow a single earned run. That's absurd. It's absurd the run they're on. And this is the kind of thing that can help you go deep in the playoffs.
I got one more fun fact when we come back from break. Something we got to talk about that's a reference from yesterday's show.
All right, we'll do the fun fact and we'll talk about the playoffs. We're talking playoffs in the next segment.
Playoffs. What do you get when you have a bald eagle, hopefully named Eagly, standing on top of a silverback gorilla, named Gorilla riding a T-Rex, which I got right here, Rally Dino? Confidence. Pure confidence, just like our friend Rally Dino. If you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougette Go Long. Guys, that's exactly where Rougette Go Long comes in, with the confidence. This isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence. We all need more confidence, right? All need more security. And that's what Rougette Go Long is bringing to you. Confidence with effects that can last up to 36 hours, confidence all day, all night, and even right into the next day. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to Rougette.com and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com. Promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Make sure to use our code to get the 15% off so they know we sent you.
All right, Jeff, give us the fun fact of the day.
So if you listened to yesterday's show, and if you haven't, go back and listen. Most of you did based on the numbers. I was going to say.
Yeah,
I talked about that Flaherty's numbers were down. Like, he's less strikeouts, more walks, but his FIP was actually pretty low because he had not given up a home run all month. He can no longer say that after the game today. Jack Flaherty's first home run of the month of September came today in this game. So I just wanted to point out, we had mentioned that yesterday. He had not given up a single home run in September. So Valera's home run is the first one he's given up in the month, and that will help. Won't help. It's going to significantly affect his FIP because his FIP and xFIP had a big dichotomy between them. I'll explain that in the offseason. It's too much to go into now why those two are different. But yeah, first home run in the month of September for off of Flaherty.
Never tell me the odds, man. I'm just going off vibes here. Never tell me the odds. Also, I wanted to point out I didn't even know I said this, but I had someone on Twitter say this to me. I gotta pull it up if I can find it. But I had someone respond. It was box scores. I don't know the guy's handle, but he said at the beginning of the month we said that the Guardians had to go 20-10 to have a shot at the playoffs. They are now 20-6. So
21-6 since Mr. Rally Dino came on the scene. Just put that out there.
You go.
But I'm going to give us credit going back to like June and early June and into May, where you and I were like, there's some data that shows this team's been unlucky. Like that this team is consistently performing below expectations. And, were we always sunshine and rainbows? No, but we also never hit the darkness that some of the other Cleveland podcasts hit. And I am proud.
I declared them dead 3 times. I got to be honest about that. Okay. I said after the 10-game losing streak, the season was over. I said after the non-disciplinary paid list pitcher number 1, the second one. After the second time they had a player go on the non-disciplinary paid leave list, I declared them dead. I said they weren't coming back. So maybe it was just twice.
I just know I got accused of having false sincerity and forcing positivity. And not to bring it, but it's like, okay, we had our ups and downs, but I do think on the whole, we stayed a lot more positive than many people felt was deserved. And this is why I'm always going to defend this front office to the hilt. Like, we are spoiled in that regard that like every year, almost for a decade, we've been competitive. And there's teams like the Angels that spend all the money and are never competitive. There's teams, that it's a rare experience to get to be in the thick of it every single year. The Sully, what is it? The summer score.
Yeah.
Cleveland's one of the top
they're not
reason.
They're not going to have a very high summer score this year just because they spent most of the year out of it and September chasing it down. But I'll tell you what, doesn't matter. They're going to have some kind of summer score because of it. All right. So we look back. Let's look forward. Are we ready to look forward? Like, I don't want to say it's over. The magic number is 3. So
3.
The Guardians need 3 more wins or a combination of 3 wins and 3 Tigers losses. They can get the number down to 1 if they can sweep Detroit for the second straight week. That again, and that statement right now, thinking back July on that statement is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
It doesn't even
for
make
me.
sense now. Yeah, if they can sweep Detroit for the second, excuse me, the team that was the best in baseball, like you said, at 6 All-Stars, you're going to sweep them two weeks in a row, and you're going to have a chance to clinch the division. That's bonkers. So you got Parker Messick, and I think the Tigers are either going with Troy Melton or Peter Montero. I got to be honest, I feel pretty good about Cleveland's chances because this is the game. Now, this is the same thing that happened with Minnesota, right? We thought the
this
last
is the
game
weakest
was serious.
game.
Yeah, and they lost that one.
According to Baseball Reference, Parker Messick has the 7th highest WAR on this team for them in the short time he's been
Baseball Reference WAR? Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, he's been very good. The Tigers do hit lefties better because of Andy Ibanez and Jahmai Jones have had great years, but I would rather face those guys than Kerry Carpenter. And I don't know Riley Green's splits off the top of my head, but I got a feeling he doesn't do well against lefties. He's struggling this month as it is. So, you got
and Zach
Torkelson
McKinstry
and
kills them, and he won't be in because of it too. That's the other part of their pitching. No McKinstry.
Yeah, and Javi Baez. I know Javi Baez had a bad second half, but I know
he's hurt right now.
He's hurt. Yeah, so they're down some guys. They did call up Justin Henry Malloy, who was a part of their lineup last year against lefties. Yeah. So it'll still be tough. But the way none of these pitchers want to be the ones that end that streak. So like you said, he'll want to be put together number 20. But I was just thinking about this. Okay, so the Guardians, in theory, could clinch as early as Friday night. And I was just thinking, if you clinch Friday, you don't pitch Gavin Williams on Sunday. That probably goes to John Means. Yeah. He'll get his start to end the year.
Or Allen if he's not ready to go.
And you could still and just the fact they're able to line up, like you're not going to catch Seattle for the second seed. You're not going to get a first round bye. And I was thinking, we were talking about that on the way home from the game in the car, and I was like, honestly, the way this team is playing, I think the worst thing for them would be to have the first round bye because
stay hot.
Get a day of rest. Yeah, you want to stay hot. Like that'd be the worst thing for this team. You get a day of rest, and hopefully on Sunday you don't really that game means nothing on Sunday. So you don't pitch Cade Smith, you don't pitch Gavin Williams, you give Jose a day off and back-to-back days off.
If he's willing to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. He may want it. I don't know. I think if you're Steven Vogt, you might just want to lock him out of the stadium for the game or something, change the locks.
Good point.
Park his car on the field or something. I don't know. But the only thing I'm really looking ahead is somehow, some way, it just seems that the Guardians will be playing the Tigers next week. The Astros are losing again, so the Tigers may be keeping hold of that last wild card spot. You just want to make sure that the Tigers have to throw Tarek Skubal on Sunday. Like, whatever happens, you kind of want Boston to beat the Tigers because you want Tarek Skubal to have to pitch on Sunday. You want the Tigers to have to clinch their playoff spot on Sunday. So
yes,
really you want to be rooting for the Astros and you want to be rooting for the Red Sox over the weekend if you're a Guardians fan.
No, I agree. You want the Astros to do enough because you want that chance to avoid Skubal, because I know people have gotten a little cocky about Skubal. We've got a lot of people being like Kevin Williams for the Cy Young in our comments. That's not happening.
I will still
Skubal
is
Skubal is phenomenal. Like, they beat him by eking out some runs. Last time they didn't beat him, they beat the Pen. Let's be very honest. It was.
And they had a lot of help in that game.
Yes, and in this game, he got unrattled for a really poor play and then hitting a batter. Like, you kind of got a little lucky in your victory.
Although, does the bunt, like, some guys do get out of whack. Like, I know John Lester's a bat, not the same, but like, there are some guys that you can take them out of their rhythm if you bunt on them. So maybe that's something they found with him is maybe.
I mean, as long as he doesn't. But statistically, he's actually had very few errors and fields his position well. So I think it was just like, I don't know if he got overconfident, if he got cocky, what made him make a terrible decision, but then he seemed to like go from there. But I also want to give him credit for, the story went around today about that he went to visit David Fry in the hospital with Stephen Vogt.
In the same car. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, like that he, anyone who's watching that game could see that, this was one human worried about another human, and Skubal's good people.
Yeah, and his comment after the game was like, his health comes first, because like we said, David Fry's got a family, and even if he didn't have a family, he's still
don't human.
Hurt.
Yeah,
he's still a human, so you don't want to hurt him. So Jonathan Rodriguez came up to replace David Fry on the roster, and thankfully David Fry avoided the worst case scenario.
Yes.
It's some facial and nasal fractures, which are not fun, but he's not going to need surgery. He'll recover in 6 to 8 weeks. The season's over, but he'll make a full recovery, and that's great. Because I honestly, like, the thought occurred to me this morning on Thursday morning or Wednesday morning. I thought, God, there's a chance that could have been like a Herb Score type moment. Like that could have been very, very scary. Like that ended Herb Score's career, that kind of thing. I know it didn't end his career directly, but it was the start of his issues.
Well, it
so
was more of a mental issue afterwards. So
that too, yeah. So
we don't really know how it's going to affect David Fry mentally. Like,
this is true.
So
hopefully he'll be. Yeah, it could be a dangerous thing. But Jeff has a roster idea to replace David Fry, and it's nobody that's on the current Guardians roster. So this will get tricky. But Jeff and I will talk about this on tomorrow's show. Who should replace David Fry in the roster for the postseason? Because we're looking ahead. I'm going to say it. We're looking ahead. The Guardians, I believe, I have the graph pulled up for YouTube. I believe they're at 97% to make the playoffs, and they are 80-something% to win the division. So, not counting any chickens, but I'm definitely getting the skillet ready for some eggs, I guess is the worst way I could possibly put that. So we'll talk about Jeff's idea for a roster spot tomorrow. We'll talk Guardians and Tigers game 3. Might even talk some minor leagues. The Guardians had some prospects at this series. We'll talk about that. And I guess the Guardians assistant GM is not being hired away. So we'll talk about that as well tomorrow. And we'll look ahead of the Rangers series. By the way, Jeff, that Rangers series, a lot of guys are sitting. The Guardians are sitting pretty good when the Rangers come to town this weekend.
Yeah, the Rangers are staying home on the range. Let's put it that way. Thank you all.
Packing up and headed home, yeah.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us, reading, reviewing, downloading. It helps. I didn't get a chance to check and see if anyone left an iTunes review, but we don't have one this month, so if you'd be so kind, we appreciate that. We appreciate all of you, no matter what. Thank you all for coming in, commenting. Tell us what has been your favorite moment of the last few weeks in the comments below, and go Guardians, go.